Retired Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, General Ray Odierno. General, thank you so much for being with us. How do we beat ISIS?
Well, I think two things. I think first, so let me just, I get frustrated on this thing about no boots on the ground. Well, we have boots on the ground. There's special operations forces. Right. There are soldiers. And I think we have to have a short-term plan which allows our people to get on the ground. You can't defeat ISIS or destroy ISIS without having people on the ground.
We're just not going to bomb them into submission.
It's not going to happen. It's never happened in history. It's not going to happen now. So, but I'm an opponent of putting special operations force down, gaining. We always talk about intelligence. What the intelligence we're missing is the intelligence that you gain on the ground. We can get electronic intelligence, we can get other intelligence from feeds, from video feeds, but we need human intelligence. In order to do that, you got to get people on the ground to develop the networks that are necessary both in Iraq and Syria. So we have to start doing that. In the long term, what surprised me is how little conversation we have about building a coalition. Right. What a better time to build a coalition with European allies, with our partners in the Middle East, to put a force in the long term that will defeat ISIS, with the U.S. leading and some U.S. troops involved in the
General,
process.
you're so right. I mean, you could go back to 1968 when de Gaulle actually decided that he was going to be neutral in the battle between the Soviet Union and the United States as far as NATO went. We've always had to drag the French along. We've always had to drag our European neighbors along. We've always had to drag the Middle East along, but Bush 41 did it. But now, what an extraordinary opportunity for this president, for this administration, to put together an extraordinary coalition of the willing and have them fight for their future with our help.
I mean, we have to rebuild some trust in the Middle East, and we have to start now. The president can do it, but we have to, refocusing on Saudi Arabia. We have to refocus on, Egypt, UAE, and these countries can help us there. And we got to refocus our efforts.
You say we have to rebuild trust. I've heard. Can you explain?
Yeah.
So here's 3 or 4 years, I hear time and time again from the Gulf region them saying, we're not going to go there because if we do, you guys aren't going to be behind us.
That's part of it. And remember, everything that happens in the Middle East has to do with Shia Sunni, which basically comes out Iran, Saudi Arabia, and a lot of other countries. And so that's the fundamental underlying fabric of what goes on in the Middle East. And so you got to understand that. So with the nuclear deal with Iran, you now got to rebuild relationship with countries like Saudi Arabia and others.
Which, by the way, again, I'm not getting political, but the nuclear deal could, I will not say it feeds into ISIS's narrative, but could it have come at a worse time strategically, General?
Yeah, I mean, it affects what's going on the ground. It affects people making decisions on what they're going to do, what they want to do, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I mean, the king is, the old king of Saudi Arabia was upset with us that Maliki was in power. And, so it goes way back. It goes back to President Bush. I mean, so we got to rebuild these relationships, and we got to lead, and they got to believe that we're going to do what we say. And so, to me, that's